Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is another Fun Fold Friday. I think I'm on week 9 now. I hope you've been enjoying them and you've been trying out some of these fabulous fun folds. I think they're a nice change from just a regular style card. So today I have a fun fold that's called the Double Easel card. And this is the prototype that I made. I am popping this in the mail for good friends of mine that live down in Washington State because their Thanksgiving is coming up. But I don't know if you can notice, probably not, but I made a boo-boo on this. And so this easel part is a little longer than the card base, and therefore it will not fit in a regular A2 sized envelope. So I've rejigged the measurements, and we're going to make the proper card today. So I will give you the measurements and they'll also be on my blog post. So what I'll do with this one is I will just trim off the bottom of this card and then that will work. I think that will work just fine. So let's set that aside. Now the stamp set that I chose to use, I have really been enjoying this Gather Together. I have quite a few birthdays that fall in the fall season. And so I've been making quite a few birthday cards using this. And I am a lover of everything fall with, I love the pumpkins and I of course love the leaves. I was recently at an onstage event in Portland and was very happy to see the number of trees. I'm not sure what kind of tree it is. I want to say aspen, but they were all over the downtown area and all the leaves pretty much had already fallen and the streets and sidewalks were just covered with these golden leaves. And so I quite enjoyed that, except that they were a little slippery when walking. Now, another thing that I love are the set of framelits that come with this set. And there's a couple of particular framelits in here that are very cool. And they are these leaves. And I don't know if you can notice, but these leaves, they cut out a solid leaf with embossing at the same time. And so I love that. And then it has a larger maple leaf and then quite a few little pumpkins. I'm going to take these out because we're going to be doing some pumpkins for this card. All right, so now to save time, I did go ahead and I've already cut out quite a number of these leaves. So I don't know if you can see the embossing on there. So I did some green ones and I did the Mary Merlot and Pear Pizzazz, and then I did a couple of champagne foil leaves, which are very, very pretty. On this card, I did them in silver, mint macaron and pretty peacock. So lots of different things, and this one I just cut from some DSP. Lots of different things you can do with that. All right, so let me give you the card measurements here, just in case you want to pause the video in between and go get yourself some supplies ahead of time. So you're going to start with a card base. This is a regular tent fold card base. So it's basically 11 inches long by 4 1/4 wide, and you're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then you're going to create your tent fold piece, and or the easel piece. And this measures 4 inches across. So it's 1/4 inch less than the card base. And it is 9 3/4 long. Put it on your scoreboard or use your trimmer, and you are going to score at 2 1/4 and then at 4 1/2. And then you're going to create this easel piece like that. Okay. And then we want a piece of DSP for the back of this. So this DSP measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then this smaller piece for the front of the easel is 3 3/4 by 2 inches. So that's all the cutting that you need. I've got a scrap of Very Vanilla here because I want to stamp some of these pumpkins, and I want to show you a little trick for coloring. So let's just get out my piercing mat, because I'm using, these are photopolymer stamps, and So what I like to do with these is I'm actually going to use my Stampin' Write markers. So I'm going to pull out the Pumpkin Pie and the Cajun Craze, these two colors. And this is really a cool trick. You can do this with either the red rubber or the photopolymer, where you can use two different colors. It's more difficult if you try and use your stamp pads, so I just use my markers. So the first thing I do is I color all over the pumpkin with the main color. And you're going to be using the huffing technique to keep this moist before you stamp it. So color all over that. Then I'm going to take my darker color, so always start with the lightest color, and I'm going to add some dark in here. You're just going to do it like that. Okay, and I'll even do the stem, and I'm going to do a little bit at the bottom. Alright, so now I've got my two colors on there. So now I'm going to give it a huff, and then I'm going to stamp it onto my paper. So look, you get some different colored effects. Now if you wanted to, I love my Wink of Stella. You can pull in Wink of Stella, or you can pull in a tiny bit of water with your aqua painter, and you can start to pull the color into the pumpkin. Just to add a bit more color. Like that, and then I think I'll take the Cajun Craze and I'll just color the stem. There we go. So let's do the same thing for the smaller pumpkins. Not quite sure what I'm doing with these. They're going to go on the card somewhere. As I've told you before, I've mentioned before, I really don't like duplicating the same card, so I make a prototype and then I kind of think of an idea for the second card so that you get two different looks at the same time. You don't have to be overly precise with this method either. Okay, so I'm going to go over, oh, let's put a bit more Wink of Stella on here. I feel like this Wink of Stella is running out, but I'll have to check it. All right, so I'm going to take this over to my Big Shot and cut these out, and I'll be right back. Okay, there are my pumpkins. Now it's time to assemble the card. Let's just throw these in my stamp box. We're ready to assemble now. So, I'm going to take my card base to start with. Make sure you orient it the right way as a tent fold. And you can take your Whisper White piece and we will mount it onto the card base. So this is 1/8 of an inch border on each side. So try and center that the best you can. Don't forget to use your grid mat if you need to help line it up. And there we go. Next I will now mount this one on here. So let's do that. Now this has got some tiny pumpkins on here, so make sure you orient that the right way as well. This also has an 1/8 of an inch border. Now I can put this small piece of DSP on the bottom. Once you've cut everything, this card is fairly quick to put together. There we go. Okay, now what am I going to do to decorate? I finally got, I had ordered this combo ribbon. I think this was one of the products in this suite. And it's this absolutely beautiful ribbon. It's got a texture on the inside, and then it's got just the satin on the edges. So that's just beautiful. And then it also came with this baker's twine, which is cool. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet, but let's see. So what I was thinking of putting a cluster of leaves up here. So let's see. I was going to do something like this. Let's see how these work out. Something like that. So we'll glue those on bit by bit, and then I thought maybe I could put a bit of this ribbon down here. Or let's see, let's actually maybe wrap this around. Maybe I'm going to do this instead. So let me get my scissors out. Where are my paper snips? Here they are. There's a little bit of tape on the end of that. Let's get rid of that. So I'm going to run a bit of tape runner on each of these sides. I'm going to attach this end here. Let's get this out of the way. And let's run this around a few times. Okay, I've got 3 times around. That's good. So if you put a bit of tape runner on the back, it's way easier to get that to stay as you're wrapping it. Now my only issue is this tape runner is now going to fold over, so I think I'm going to have to put another piece of paper on the back of that. Okay, I'm back with a small piece here, and I'm just going to glue that on the back. There's always a way to fix a boo-boo or a problem with your card. You just have to kind of think outside the box a little bit. And you know, when people open this card, they're not going to really see this when it's in its easel formation. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So there, I've covered up that to glue, so now it won't stick down. Okay, I'm happy with that. And actually it might give it a bit more stability. Okay, so now what am I doing on the front? I already used this Greeting Gather Together that is in the stamp set, and I used the Pretty Label Punch. I think that's a really nice, kind of like a cloud punch. On my first card, I used this Timeless Label Punch. So you can see the difference between the two punches. And I stamped a little bit of a background on there. It's fun to stamp backgrounds on top of your greetings, but you may want to stamp off to get some of the ink off. So we're going to want dimensionals on here, so let's do that. And And let's see, if I put this on the front here, and I do my leaves, I might put a pumpkin in the middle of the leaves, maybe the smaller pumpkin. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so I'm going to just use tape runner on all of my leaves and make a little flourish of leaves here. See how this works out. Again, folks, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, which is really how I love to design. I like to kind of think on the go. Think on the fly, maybe is a better expression. We could put a couple of leaves down here as well, like this maybe. Let's think about that. And it's nice if you pop them over the top of the easel, might add some interest. So let's add one of these. And then one of the, I love the champagne foil paper. So we have the silver, we have the gold, we have the champagne. It's nice to have a package of each, because you just never know. Let's see, I think that looks nice up there on top of the Mary Merlot. Now, let's see, what are we going to do with these little pumpkins? Now that I stamped them and colored them, I think we have to use them. Maybe the bigger one up here. What do you think? The bigger one? Maybe we'll put this on a dimensional too. Let's see how that works out. So we'll put this. Now your card's going to open, so you're going to see below that piece. So I'm going to stick it like right there. Okay, now how are we going to work this out? Let's put one of these here with this behind it. I like that. So what I think I will do is again run some tape runner just on the back of my greeting. And let's put these together kind of like that and hold it up like that and stick those down. Ooh, I'm liking it. And then maybe this little pumpkin down at the bottom. Ooh, I'm really liking it. Okay, let's continue. I'm hoping you're enjoying my splash of creativity here. So let's put that here like that. And then we'll probably put these pumpkins on dimensionals as well. And put these here. Oh my goodness, I really like that. Let me know what you think, and then when you open the card, you open it like that. Don't know if you can see that on the video, but it opens like that. Is that not the cutest card? That is so cute. Now for the inside, you will need a, and I haven't cut it yet, but you will need, maybe I have one here. Oh yeah, this is very vanilla. You'll want a very vanilla insert here. I happen to have one. And I did some trimming earlier on some cardstock, so I have a couple of extra strips here that I could put in here. They're not quite long enough, but I don't think that really matters. So I'm going to put a strip in here. Where is my silicone mat? You could cut out another pumpkin to put in here, maybe at one end of this strip. You could wrap a bit more of that twine around it if you wanted to. It's not quite straight, but I can undo that. I think I will. Okay, I'm going to tell you about this. Take a pick tool. You've seen this probably 1,000 times if you watch a lot of Stampin' Up! Videos, but oh my gosh, I just adore this spatula end because this is how I get off my layers. And the other thing, a trick, is you can heat this. So if I'm going to do that now and show you. So if you take your heat gun and heat from underneath, it will soften the adhesive. And then if you use your spatula, it should lift off. I might have to heat it a little bit more, but it is coming off. See? Here it comes. Look at that. Look at that. So another great use of your heat tool. So I'm not really liking this not going right to the edges, so I will cut another piece of card, a piece of designer series paper, and put that in there. Or I could take this ribbon and put this in here. And then, oh, maybe I'll wrap a bit of string around there too. Oh, I think I like that even better. So let's do that. Let's wrap this to the back. And trim that. Ooh, yes, I love that. Oh, I like that. And let's put that inside the card, and then we're going to be pretty well done. So I'd love for you to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this card. And maybe you can tell me what you would have done instead. Share some ideas around. There you go. I've taken up enough of your time, I think. I really appreciate you sticking around to watch me create this card. If you like my videos, I'd love a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can find me more easily. And if you click the little bell icon, I believe that that will give you a notification when I post a new video. Go and visit my blog post. You will have all of the measurements over there, as well as the photos of the two cards. And that's about it. Thanks once again, and we'll see you next week for another Fun Fold video.